Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from SkiEssentials.com. Welcome to another episode of our weekly Top 5 Fridays ski industry news videos. Pretty quick week for news. Before we get into that, just a friendly reminder that we're still in the month of March, which means there's still time to enter photos into the March Ski Happy Photo Contest sponsored by K2. If you remember from last week, we're giving away a pair of Wayback 96 or Talkback 96 skis just in time for touring season, or spring touring season. I guess it's kind of always touring season as long as there's snow on the ground. So yeah, head on over to the contest page. There's all the details about how you can enter your photos. You can enter as many photos as you want, and you might win some skis. So with that said, let's get straight into the news. We'll start with some FIS Alpine updates as we normally do. Picking off right where we left off last Friday, we had another slalom, another women's slalom race on Saturday. Michaela Schifrin continues to ski really well. She picked up a second in that race. But maybe the most exciting news out of that was Paula Moltzen. She bettered that ninth that we talked about on Friday with a fourth place finish on Saturday. So really exciting to see. You know, we've talked about kind of the trend that the U.S. team is heading on, especially the women's side of things. It's going to be really exciting to see what Paula can do in coming years and coming races. So, yeah, great slalom finishes for those two. Unfortunately, since then, most of the races in Lenzerheide have been canceled due to weather. I think 8 total races were canceled due to weather. And with that brought kind of an abrupt end to at least the season for the speed events. So downhill and Super G standings are now, finished for the season. Laura Gut picked up the Super G win, the overall title in Super G. She skied really well all season. And then Sofia Goja, she picked up the downhill title, which we talked about a few weeks ago. She got injured, wasn't able to finish out the season, but there was a good chance that her points were going to hold up. And with the cancellation of this last event, that it became even more likely and ultimately happened. So congratulations to those two. And then in other ski racing news, the U.S. ski team president Tiger Shaw has announced his resignation after the 2022 Olympics. So that's something that we'll kind of keep an eye on as candidates for that position arise. So yeah, kind of a bummer about the Lenzerheide races, but overall positive news out of the ski racing world. And kind of fun this week for the second topic of the week, we have more FIS updates, but this time it's on the Freeski side of things, kind of recapping the World Championships in Aspen. So we had slopestyle, big air, and halfpipe. To me, the highlight was slopestyle. Both the men's and the women's slopestyle competitions were really, really good. I thought the course was well designed. It seemed like all the athletes really liked it. Andre Rigetli took the win. Andre is an incredible skier. He's tough to beat in slopestyle, tough to beat in big air too. He took the win. Colby Stevenson and Alex Hall, both out of the United States, picked up second and third respectively. I will go on record, I don't care if it's my country bias or just because I'm a fan of his skiing, but I thought Colby's run should have won. To me, it had a little bit more flavor to it. And I don't necessarily think Andre's was more technically difficult. I think they were similarly difficult, and I thought Colby skied the course with a little more style. So kind of a bummer there, but second's still very, very good. So congratulations to both Colby and Alex. On the women's side of thing, Eileen Gu just continues to impress. She's had an unbelievable season this year. Kind of a relative newcomer to at least the big scene, the major leagues of park skiing. And yeah, she's kind of just been on a tear, picking up podiums and wins just left and right. She won both slopestyle and halfpipe and also picked up third in big air. And then shout out to Burke Irving from the United States who got third in halfpipe as well. So yeah, pretty darn good showing from the U.S. team. I thought Burke's halfpipe run was incredibly smooth. It might not have been the most technically challenging. Nico Portier is just insane, so it's like no, it's not unfair. But when you can do double cork 60 and 20s both ways, you're going to win a lot of halfpipe competitions, and he did. But yeah, great skiing from Burke, and it was a pleasure to watch. Third topic of the week is more competition news. Like I said, really heavy on the competition news this week. We had the third stop of the Freeride World Tour in Fieberbrunn, Austria. I love this location. I love this venue. It's a crazy course. A lot of really cool natural features. There's like a channel gap that a bunch of skiers were hitting. I'm not going to give you the full results because I really would encourage you to watch it, especially if like you don't watch a lot of Freeride World Tour. I think this one is arguably more entertaining than some of the other venues, so check that out. I will say that Rennie Barkered, he kicked things off. He was the first run out of the men's skiers, and he really set the tone for what was, to me, just an incredible contest to watch. His first run earned a score of 89. So did that hold up for the win or not? I will let you find out. And with this, that's 3 stops in the books. And now qualified athletes, basically at the end of this competition, they got kind of their invitations to the final in Verbier. So that'll be the last stop of the Freeride World Tour this season. That is scheduled for Monday. So yeah, if you haven't seen it already, go watch the recap of the Freeride World Tour in Fieberbrunn and get ready for Monday because it should be a really good show. And then last topic of the week, out of Colorado, Arapahoe Basin has made an announcement that they are going to reduce season pass and ticket sales next season. So this is pretty interesting. It kind of follows the trends that A-Basin has been going with for the past couple seasons, in my opinion. So following the 2018-2019 season, they announced that they were kind of parting ways with the Epic Pass. So A-Basin used to kind of partner with Vail Resorts to allow Epic Pass access to their resorts. They're now on Icon and Mountain Collective, but both of those passes restrict the number of days that you can ski at A-Basin. And then, yeah, kind of following that trend for next ski season, for the 2021-2022 ski season, they are reducing the total amount of season pass and ticket sales by 10%. And basically what they're going for here is they want to preserve the traditional and existing culture at A-Basin. The culture and the vibe and the overall experience. If you've ever skied A-Basin, it's, to me, it feels a little different than the most of the mountains that it's near. I suppose Loveland is more similar in a lot of ways, but A-Basin has always had more of like a smaller kind of family-oriented resort, or like a real core ski area. More of that vibe than, like the Breckenridges and the Keystones, especially Vail, even something like Copper. It's much more kind of down to earth. So ultimately, they will most definitely see a decrease in revenue, probably a slight decrease in revenue, but it will likely be a decrease in revenue. But what they're going for is better customer satisfaction and thus better loyalty. So I think that's it's commendable. I think anyone that, really across the board, like anyone that's running a business, if you make a decision that's going to make you less money, but is going to improve the experience for your consumers, I think that's a very respectful thing to do. Obviously, like, don't put yourself out of business, but there's a balance to it for sure. So I'm kind of excited to hear that. I like skiing A-Basin a lot. Hopefully I can get out there in the coming seasons and yeah, maybe it'll feel a little different there. You know, it was starting to get a little crowded, especially like there were always like spring days there that were just insane amounts of people kind of once surrounding resorts had closed. So yeah, pretty cool. And then finally we have our edits of the week. So first edit, this is about a 20-minute kind of short film called Full Circle. It's skiing Corcovado in Chile. I'm sure I mispronounced that, but it's pretty amazing. You know, it pretty much documents like all the work that went into skiing that terrain, including like some pretty gnarly bushwhacking. And then second edit of the week, it's from GoPro and Trevor Kennison, sit skiing with Trevor Kennison at Copper. I have seen this footage before, not necessarily in this edit form. I think there was a little more to it than what I had seen in the past. But if you haven't seen this, Trevor Kennison is an incredible sit skier, adaptive sit skier. We've talked about him plenty of times before on Top 5 Fridays. And he hit the big jump line at Copper, which is just, it's really impressive. Even like for an able-bodied person, the big jump line at Copper is like the real deal. Especially the last jump in particular is pretty darn big. Something that I always get kind of butterflies the first time I hit it in the season or something like that. It's big enough that it makes you pretty darn nervous. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out because it's pretty amazing. He's a great guy too. So hope all is well, Trevor. And then third edit of the week is from Emile Bergeron, titled Bergie and Biggie. It's basically just kind of a feel-good park edit with Emile Bergeron and a friend of his. And then finally, we have that full recap, full broadcast of the third stop of the Freeride World Tour. And that is it for Top 5 Fridays. We are about to head into about a week or maybe longer of just perfect spring skiing weather here in Stowe. Hopefully the same is true where you are, or maybe you're getting some snow, or maybe it still feels more like winter where you are. But regardless, I hope you're able to get out on snow this weekend and yeah, get those last turns in. I know we still have like at least a month left in the ski season, but it's starting to feel like it's winding down. So get those runs in while you can, and we will see you guys out there on the slopes.